My name's Paul, and for the last 12 months, I've been the engagement coordinator for ABandOfBrothers Manchester. So I've been involved with ABandOfBrothers now for 2 years. So my day job, I work for a charity called Back on Track. It's an adult education charity. And I was working on a project alongside the probation teams. A colleague shared the link for ABandOfBrothers. We work with the same kind of cohort that I was working with in my day job, and thought it would be a great opportunity to refer some of the young men that I was working with for some extra support. Came down to one of the intro evenings. There was something about the community, the atmosphere, just something, I felt something in me when I was there. A couple of weeks later, I was on my rite of passage weekend, and that changed my life. Had to work through a bit of resistance, a bit of fear to go on that weekend. Almost put it off, but yeah, it's the best decision I've ever made. Yeah, I've been involved ever since. So the engagement coordinator role is about looking to kind of build those networks and those connections with potential referral partners who work with young men aged 18 to 25 who are involved or at risk of involvement with the criminal justice system. So that would be the probation service, job centres, anybody that's working with that cohort that might want to refer to us. And that will also include helping to organise introduction evenings, attending networking events, and alongside that, trying to bring new men into the community. My day job with Back on Track naturally put me in front of people and services who we would want to work closely with, and working alongside the probation teams, put me directly in front of those young men that we're working with. And I was even working with, some of those at Back on Track for my day job anyway. Some of my personal highlights from my time with ABandOfBrothers, I think all evolve around the rite of passage weekends. Having experience in myself, going through my weekend and then staffing and supporting other men going through their weekend, they are transformational experiences, and it brings me a lot of pride to have been part of that. I think something that really stood out for me was seeing the change in those young men. I remember one particular who was so kind of withdrawn and quiet when he came to the intro evening. I could barely hear him when I was sat right next to him. By the end of that weekend, he was holding himself taller, he was speaking more loudly, he was interacting with others. And then over the course of the following 6 to 12 months beyond that, I sit in opposite him in our weekly circles, and he's unrecognisable from the man that stepped through that door when he first came to us. I've learned a lot about myself in that process. I think what I've kind of realised about myself is actually I'm capable of more than what I give myself credit for. The biggest challenge, certainly at the start, was taking too much on. That got overwhelming at times. And a lot of that was coming from fear of not being good enough. But there's only so much I could do with my time. I recognised that it wasn't all about me doing, it was about coordinating. So finding a community and a brotherhood, which I didn't know I was missing, really has helped me believe in myself and to work through some things that had been holding me back for many years. And through that, I've learned that actually I have these skills which I didn't know I had before. And it wasn't until I reached out for support from the community and asked for help that things really shifted. And that was a big learning for me, was it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need support. So some personal challenges that I think really it was before I joined ABandOfBrothers. On the surface, everything looked fine. I had a good job, friends and family, and a nice place to live. But I was just unhappy and a little bit lonely as well, I think. When I stepped into that intro evening and felt the energy of that room, I was just like, that was the missing piece. I didn't even know I was missing that connection, the community, the brotherhood that it's brought me is probably the most unexpected thing. But what it's done is it's helped me find a purpose and find something that I can kind of get behind, and which I was lacking. I felt like I was kind of just drifting through life, really. And it's actually helped me connect with other aspects of my life better. It helped me connect more with the work I was doing at Back on Track. It's helped me connect better with my friends, with my family. Yeah, I don't feel that anymore, that loneliness, that I'm not drifting anymore. I have a purpose, I have a direction. That's all because of ABandOfBrothers and what it's given me over the 2 years. Seeing one of the young men get a job 6-12 months ago, his path was very different, potentially ending in prison. But to see his confidence grow and to see his trust in us as a community grow as well, I think it's been fantastic to see him develop and it grow into a very confident and mature young man. It's a byproduct of the work I think that we do, that these young men are then able to start looking at a future which is different to where it possibly could have been. So what's next for me is, some adventure. I'm stepping down from the engagement role and doing some travelling, going to Bali initially, and then see where things take me. I never really had the belief in myself and the courage to go ahead and do that, and to take that leap, take that risk. But Band of Brothers has helped me believe in myself, and knowing that there's a community of men behind me who I can come back to, 6-12 months time, however long it might be, knowing that those men are there, those brothers, those friends, even if I need to speak to them when I'm on the other side of the world, I know that that's there. And not just in Manchester either, knowing that there's communities around the UK and I could go to any of those and be welcomed because of the shared experience that we have. So Band of Brothers has given me that belief and that confidence to take this next step in my life, and I'm eternally grateful for that. It's something I've been thinking about for many years, making that commitment to go through that rites of passage weekend and then become a part of the community. I said was the best decision I've ever made. To have gotten the benefit personally that I have, and been able to contribute to the change in young men and older men as well, has made that effort and that commitment more than worth it. And I wouldn't change that for the world. You can get so much from it whilst giving back at the same time. Any older man that's potentially thinking of becoming a mentor, for me, the effort is worth it. It's changed my life, and it may well change yours as well. At a time when there's a lot of division, a lot of anger, a lot in the media about young men being, angry, violent. My belief is that this work is a part of that solution to that problem. The young men that we work with, they're angry, they're grieving, and as a society we don't create the spaces that these young men need, the older men need as well. I didn't know I needed it, and it's like I said, it's changed my life. So I believe 100% in the work that we do. It's unique, it's powerful, it's transformational, but it's a journey, and it takes a commitment from those young men to trust us, to step into that unknown and to stick to the program, to the plan, and for those older men to commit to that as well. And I've seen the change in myself, in others, and I believe that if we want things to change in society and to really start addressing the isolation and the violence that we're seeing in those young men, A Band of Brothers is that place.